And we heard Ben Ryan speaking already in this tournament about how when he's bringing players in from 15s, it's not as if they've got any less experience than the rest of the guys currently in the squad. They've grown up playing the game, it's in their blood, and they've been doing it for years. So, you know, when you've got people like Nakamura filling in, who's been up at Glasgow Warriors, you know, he looks since they were young.
Of course. I mentioned Gregor Townsend is used to Nakarawa playing sort of like a sevens player when he plays for Glasgow. This is almost more his natural comfort zone when he comes and
played with Glasgow for the last couple of years. It pretty much is sevens. He is so effective at getting his arms free through a contact and throwing offloads when you think they're not on, which is just the kind of traditional Fijian way. And he's come back into this sevens team and he's continued to do that. He's very evasive on his feet and he's put on a lot of weight in his time in Glasgow, you know, actual muscle mass as well. So he's up to nigh on 130 kilos, but he can still move with it, not just straight line pace, but how balanced a runner he is, and his actual ability with ball in hand is second to none.
Absolutely. So put you in the Australians or your own shoes, Tom, when you were playing for England, on the Fijians when they're at their best. Clearly there's no obvious way to stop them, but what if there's a chink in the armour, what is it for the Fijians?
The key for me when you're playing against them is you get hold of the ball and you keep hold of the ball. You don't want to get tempted into throwing too many offloads because they'll knock it out. They're very good at doing things like that, so you've got to be top of ball carries. Put structure into the game, which is the opposite of the way that they like to play it. So you put structure into it, take your rucks if you have to. Once you get goat forward, actually defensively, they're a bit loose sometimes. There are holes all over the field. And when you're defending against them, you've got to just stay nice and tight. Don't give them too many reads and options to step through because they will take it, they will offload, and then they will score.
And then they will put you to bed, won't they? Exactly. What a fascinating run of semi-finals we've had so far. Victories for the Argentinians, the Samoans, the French, and this is the final of the four quarters. Australia against Fiji as we hand you back to Paris.
McCutcheon loves to go direct. Always takes a couple of defenders to stop him too. Stannard, some nifty footwork. Stannard lays it on a platter for his captain. I think he's caught the touchline.
Well, I thought Stannard could have gone all the way himself. He decided to be unselfish and give it to his captain. Let's have a listen.
A review to see where he's grounded the ball before he's untouched. Thank you. RVR, please.
I felt live, KT, that he may have had his right leg in a touch before getting it down.
Yeah,
have a look.
I'm with you, Sean. I thought he touched it, Eddie. No way.
Oh, wow. He's managed to lift his heels, it looks like. On the slide in. They seem to bounce up here.
I think he's got that. I'd give that.
Would you?
I'll tell you what, look at him here. He's got his feet up. The ball's... Oh, no. I don't think he got it down, did he?
No try.
No try. The call from Richard Kelly after using the RVR, a referee video review system. Andy Friend unhappy.
2 metres.
Understandably, but a good start for of this Fijian team. Vermoa is scrappy at line-out time, and Australia pile in here. Across the park to Clark. Again to Hutchison. Hutchison drops 5 from the line. Foley digs it out. Stannard, Parahi in the midfield. Parahi trying to spin through the defence. Good clean out from Stannard. They're well covered on this short side. McCutcheon! Power! He gets the first try in this Cup quarter-final.
And they deserve it to Australia. They were composed this whole set on attack. They spread it to the left-hand side. Give Hutchinson on one-on-one. Jesse Parahi, I think he has been a welcome addition to this Australian setup because you know what, you're going to get hard, tough yards up the middle of the park. And what does that do? Open up holes for the big man on the side, Pat McCutcheon.
2 tries in the exact same part of the field yesterday against England. He's on the score sheet here against Fiji. And there is some cattle to come off the bench too. Nick Cummins, the honey badger with the head taped up. Sam Myers too adds some real starch when he is on the field. This time round, the ball's going to check and not go to 10. Fiji will restart by the free kick. Ravovo. Their first touch of the ball, really, Fiji, and they do well there to hang on to it. Far side they go. And it's come loose out of the hands of Tuisova. Clark dancing at the line, trying to get through the tackle of Ravovo, does so, but catching him was Katonimbau. Hutchison, Stannard, Parahi, Jenkins a little wider, opts to go himself, Parahi. Hutchison fishes it out of the back. We're playing a penalty advantage here. Diving off the feet, the call. McCutcheon straightening his Foley. Dominating possession for the moment. The Aussies, Parahi. Stannard. Hutchison, the whiz kid, goes in. Australia land 2 early shots on the Fijians.
Well, any team is vulnerable when they don't have the ball, and Fiji are getting dominated at the moment. You can see here, because of this kid, he's going in the middle of the park, drawing them in. They're not making their tackles, they're going to deck, and right there, that's why Australia are getting the overlap. Stannard realises what the situation is, and this kid, he has to be up for nomination for Rookie of the Year. Henry Hutchison has been outstanding in 2016.
Brilliant is the best way to describe his introduction to the world of sevens. James Stannard, the man taking a shot at goal, suggesting a couple of weeks back that not only will Henry star in sevens, but potentially long-term will wear Wallaby gold as well.
Well, that's the beauty of the sevens format, isn't it? And why Australia and New Zealand, the lights, they like to use these programs to get guys like that opportunities both in the 15 and 7-a-side game.
Parahi swoops, brings it in for the Aussies. The crowd's gone silent, unsure as to what's going on. They love to get behind the Fijians. They ride this shot. That's a terrific tackle from Tuisova, looking to lift his side into this one. They pile in. A good result there for the Fijians. And they'll tap and go again. They're off the mark.
Well, they needed something, didn't they, the Fijians? They've had no ball, and it comes there with a nice defensive read by Tuisova. Outstanding.
Here they come now, the Fijians. And this big unit has been causing dramas all weekend for defensive lines. Nakarawa. The pickup is sublime from Ravovo. Here come Fiji, looking to work their way back into it, and so nonchalant is Nakarawa. He got him rolling, and he wrapped it up.
Well, you knew it was always going to come, wasn't it? And that's the reply from the Fijians. They just make it look so easy. Come from the defensive pressure only moments earlier, but the big man, the number 5, the long stride, palms off Ed Jenkins, but Jenkins comes back, takes the legs out. Look at him, he gets off the deck, does the big man, realises the urgency of the situation as captain gives him the last pass. That is all about the want right there, and he wanted it more.
Fijian fans breathe a little easier for the moment. They were under the pump for the first 5 minutes of this game. We're down by 10 and now find themselves down by 5. Hasn't he made an impressive return to the world of sevens? Nakarawa.
Most definitely. And also in tandem with Tuisova. Great for Ben Ryan to be able to call on those two guys into the sevens setup. But now an important kick for both teams. Australia need this one. Fiji also.
Beautifully taken by Hutchison, getting good support there from Clark. Parahi. Stannard to Foley, no way through there. Big tackle. Now they scrap hard, the Fijians. Parahi has been a powerhouse for his side in this first half. McCutcheon, he scored the opening try. Parahi. Again, rumbling it forward. Jenkins adds his way to the clean out, but they do well there, the Aussies, to retain possession. Over the top, the ball goes from Foley. And this is promising for Australia. Hutchison beats 1, 2. Clark goes in for the clean out. McCutcheon. Stannard wide, and they're playing with a penalty advantage now, Australia as well. Jenkins steering back against the traffic and releases Clark. They won't get Cam Clark, nor will they get Hutchison. Australia have 3 tries to the Fijians 1.
Again, being able to expose Fiji on the edge. Ed Jenkins finally gets his hands on the ball, causes some mismatches, and finally they see where the numbers are. Clark unselfishly gives it to Hutchison for his double.
What was Cam Clark doing? He was practically over the try line, and in turn throws it 5 metres to the left to make the conversion attempt that much trickier for James Stannard. From the left-hand touchline, he's hit it fairly well, but it is away to the left. So at half-time, another underdog is up in the Cup quarterfinals. Australia are clear by 10.
Of upsets here in the Cup quarterfinals over in Paris. Just saw Nick Cummins, the Honey Badger. We're hoping to hear from him a little bit later on in the show as he comes off for the Australians, who have the lead against a very unified Fijian side. Just before we throw back for the second half, Tom, what we spoke about areas where you can engage the Fijians and try and break them down perhaps. What are the Australians doing so well?
That's exactly what they've been doing. They've been keeping the ball well, taking the rucks, getting good go forward, and then moving it to the widths where they've been getting change against the Fijian defence that looks to be getting a bit narrow. And Fiji haven't really had an opportunity to get their hands on the ball. They've coughed it up a couple of times. A few of those offloads aren't quite sticking. We'll see how they go. Kick off first up. This will be if they can get hands on the ball early doors here and get into the game.
Yeah, Ben Ryan, their coach, we just heard him say, don't panic, I've got confidence, the game will come to us. We'll have to wait and see about that as we go back live to Paris.
Play on!
Oh, and you can see Henry Hutchison could just feel Tuisova eyeing up his ribs. I dropped that ball too. What a great place to attack from midfield. Scrum Stannard right in behind. If he gets a clean heel, he'll go to the right hand side. That's a natural overlap.
Fine. Set.
Good territory again for the Aussies. Hutchison looking to get on the outside of his opposite Tuisova, can't do so. Sharp work at the breakdown from Tuisova and Tuai to force the penalty. Katonimbao. That's slick. That is super slick from Domalai. Domalai looking to get away from Jenkins. Great work from the Aussie skipper. He gets back to shut down that threat.
That is a big chase from behind from Ed Jenkins. This is the best game he's had all weekend long, I think. Tell you what, it takes a lot to be able to do this. Domalai in full stride, but look at Ed Jenkins just showing desperation.
Speaking to Andy Friend this morning at the team hotel, just trying to get a gauge from him as to why his side were so lethargic yesterday. They were wiped by South Africa in their last game yesterday. Had no idea. So just sometimes that's what happens, you know. And now they are clear by 10 with 5 to go against Fiji. It's a strange game.
I'll tell you what's happening at the moment. Australia are dominating possession, passes 40, Fiji 5. Usually it's the other way around. That's what it has been the first 2 days of this competition.
Stannard. Clark on the angle. Does well to release on the ground to buy some time. It's going to come back for his side. Myers onto the park for Australia as well. Foley. Good work from Stannard to clear the defender at the ruck. McCutcheon gobbled up there by Maya Kolevu. And now they counter-ruck beautifully, the Fijians. This much better for the Fijians. Oh, how good is this guy? Jasa Veramalua!
He's been one of the best players on the HSBC 7 series in 2015-16. Jasaviri Malua, he gets it done on defence, he gets it done in the air at kick-off, and he gets it done on attack, picks it up from the ruck. Look at him carry the ball, the long strides, puts the defence in two minds, finally gets the mismatch on Stannard. Geez, isn't it great to have a guy like that in your team?
Conversions all good also. 15-12. Fiji get the first. The first try of the second half.
They're taking him out in the air. That is illegal. Now, he hasn't been spoken to here. We only just got onto the field. That is dangerous play, but Australia, I'm sure, will just take it to the set piece, slow it down, wind down the clock. They can't shut off shop here. Still a long time to go, Shawnee.
3.5 minutes against Fiji in a cup quarter final is an eternity. And they found themselves in this position before on a number of occasions, the Aussies against Fiji. Most recently in Singapore, where they lost. They found a way to lose rather than close that one out. Fiji scored twice in 90 seconds to snatch victory from the Aussies. No doubt that will be in the back of the Australians' mind here in France. The Paris Sevens has delivered massively. Days 1 and 2 and day 3 has been quite incredible so far. Kingston. Oh, that's easy for Talinga to make that shot.
Yeah, no tackle release here. Once again, just slow the play down. Stannard saying, should we go for goal? I don't think that's going to be enough. You've got to get 5 or 7, so go to the corner. Or do they tap kick? Set up one of their plays. Looks like they're going to go to the line. I think that's the right call too, Shawnee, for mine. Jesus, crowd's gone deathly silent though.
We're so used to them being up and behind the Fijians. I think they stunned Carlton Anna at the fact that the pre-tournament favourites are down by 3 with 2 minutes 30 to run. I think they thought this would be a blowout. Australia hot on attack. Stannard brought down 5 from the line. Myers trying to rumble his way over the top of Rabobo. Kingston to Stannard, misses the mark. Killingworth has to fight for the deck. Ball's out, play. The ball's come loose for the Fijians, and this is going to be trouble for the Aussies. Viri is super fast. He's off and running. Viri. That is a huge play from the Fijians.
You're right, Shawnee. It is very, very big, but I think Australia are unlucky. There was a high tackle that wasn't called. That ball was not out from the ruck. You can see that that's still under the leg. That is from the side, so you can choose your have a choice. But in the end, you've got to play to the whistle. Ed Jenkins can't do anything about that, but that is a heartbreaker for Australia.
Just to explain to us again, back at that breakdown, the ball needs to be clear of the hindmost feet for it to be out.
Most definitely, and that was not out.
Conversion attempt hits the right hand upright.
Here it is here. And he's got his foot back in behind. That is Tom Kingston. They come in from the side, not from directly behind. And when the speed belt, any Fijian gets in the open space, it's going to be tough to pull back. Australia's still in this one. Need this kick off though.
Nick Cummins onto the field. Can the Honey Badger spark the Australians to an unlikely victory?
No, back here. Just in front.
I'll tell you what Nick might be best doing, just passing that ball to one of the men who played more than 2 tournaments this year.
He's played good though this tournament when he has been injected, and that is a great kick by Stannard. Now this is the opportunity that they need. Cummins will go into centre, Stannard in the first 5. Will they give it to the Wallaby? I wouldn't like mine, didn't have a one-on-one with Talinga.
Isn't that amazing? Passes completed Australia's 53 to the Fijians 5. The full-time hooter has gone. Myers slaps it back. It's going to fall for Fiji. Fiji sneak through. They have been pushed all the way by a brave Australian side. But on this occasion, Fiji get home by just 2 points.
Well, where the other favourites have fallen, the Fijians sneaked through to the Cup semi-finals, brave from Australia, and so very nearly did it. In fact, a couple of slightly contentious moments later on in that game that perhaps swung it the way of the Fijians, but you can't deny them the form they've got coming in. And as we cast our eyes down, the order of play still to come here on finals day in Paris. The Cup semi-finals see Argentina take on Samoa just after 2 o'clock this afternoon, and France play Fiji. Some of the bigger names. New Zealand take on South Africa. That's in the plate semi-finals. The United States, they take on Scotland in the bowl semis. And we will see Wales in action in the Shield semi-finals in the not too distant future. England's next match just after 7:30.